Okay, hello guys. Welcome to Inspired Mind Hub, the podcast where we dive into real life conversation, personal growth, and challenges shaping today's world. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the evolution of style, how fashion influences personal growth and confidence. And then with me, I have my personal uh, stylist, I have a brand owner, and then I have my co-director as a co-host with me today. So with no further ado, let's dive straight in. Let me introduce my guest and my co-host to you. Let's get it. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Inspired Mind Hub podcast. A hub where we dive into real life conversation, personal growth, and challenges shaping today's world. And on today's episode, we're talking about fashion. I guess you guys can see I'm looking. Is it extinguished or I'm looking
Exquisite.
exquisite? Okay, okay. So you see, I'm looking good, and then you can see I'm wearing big things only. That's to tell you we have big things only in the building. That'll be the round of applause. Yeah. So on today's episode, the topic is evolution of style, how fashion influences personal growth, confidence, and how you show up to the world in general. So on with me, I have my co-host here, and then first I need to introduce myself to you guys. I'm your host. I'm Samir Rishi, also known as the SR Gallery. I'm the owner and founder of the SR Gallery Production Company, and I have my co-host with me here. I will let you guys hear from her. She introduce herself. A round of applause for my co-director on set to be. I'm talking about.
I'm Koda Marie. As Sam said, I'm co-directing today and yeah, excited for what we have.
Okay, that was a brief one from Kura.
Baby.
We have two special guests in the house. I know you guys are wondering now because you are seeing the faces, but you can't put name to the face. Let me help you guys. So on my left hand side, I have with you the number one personal stylist and personal shopper in Cape Town and in the whole of South Africa, and also globally. You can't limit her to where she can offer her services. I have with me Asanda Guban from Durban, based there in Cape Town. So I'll let you guys hear from her so she can give us a brief about herself.
Hi, guys. I think Sam has done a bit of introduction. My name is Asana Ngubane, born and raised in Durban. I am a personal shopper and a personal stylist. Moved to Cape Town to pursue that beautiful dream that I have of making sure that I get people looking very stylish and for them to be able to get their wardrobe fun and just have a good old time experience.
Yeah, I think I'm being influenced. I dress nice because I know I was gonna sit close to Asanda. But then on camera, imagine sitting to a stylist, sitting close to a stylist, and you're looking like one of these guys outside. So I don't want to do that. But once you wear big things only, it's gone. You don't need nothing else. So I'll let you introduce big things only.
Yes, what an introduction. How do I top that? So right next to me, we've got the CEO and founder of Big Things Only.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to introduce himself and just let you know what he's about in the city. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Jan Yabikwi, and I'm the CEO and founder of Big Things Only. Big Things Only is not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. So it's a fashion and wellness brand that reminds you of your true self, that pushes you for your next level, that reminds you at every point in time for you not to give up, for you to always keep striving for an improved version of yourself, personal development, and not just personal development, also around your vicinity, around your environment, but we believe that the change starts with us. So we're a reflection of what we want to see in the world. So we're called believers. And Big Things Only is specially and only designs and create clothes and events for believers, people who believe in themselves and people who believe in a dream. Big Things Only.
Mm, big
Yeah,
things
yeah.
only. You guys hear it? You guys hear it? You know, a believer when you see one, that's a slogan, and then you can't really deny that. Like when you see a believer, you can tell this is a believer. That's big things only. That deserves a hand of applause for big things only.
So, Mr. Big Things, let's start from the beginning. Let's take it back. What would you say were your defining moments that took you from, okay, I got to get dressed, I want to go out, I want to look good, but actually to where it changes your entire life? So, fashion becomes your life. How was that and when was that moment for you?
So looking back, I would say that moment where things like changed for me was at the point where I realized self-awareness, as we keep getting older, we keep learning and unlearning. So in realizing that self-awareness starts with like how I portray myself out there and how I represent myself. We always say that um how you dress is how people will address you, right? So being that aware that I need to put myself in a very good position is how my fashion game started. And that's why I realized that, oh, the things I even like are not even in the market, are not available everywhere. I've always loved being different from the crowd. So that took me into like customizing and making my own garments. And a step further, I realized that, oh, people like what I make. People see the vision and they also want something different, also takes them away from the crowd. We always differentiate ourselves from every room, every environment that we find ourselves in. So that was where I like took myself further and created the brand Big Things on.
Okay, I mean, that's a nice,
So,
that's nice.
so you can basically say that spirit of individualism, you wanting to trail your own, what do they say, trailblazing. So you want to pull your own trail in the mark. So that basically took fashion just from something I wear actually to, you know what, this could be a movement and people like it. So
Yes,
that's amazing.
definitely. You said it very well.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, and then we have a stylist very close to me. So when I want to give her some question, I need to look how she's looking because she always surprises me, like how she put these colors together and like each of the pieces. So this question is for you, Asanda. Was there a particular moment or phase that really shaped your style or changed how you express yourself through what you wear?
Um, yes, I've always been someone, like I've said previously, that was surrounded by people that liked fashion. I grew up watching a lot of like fashion shows. However, when I got into boarding school, there would be shows that they were held, and people would always ask me for advice on like what to wear. Am I wearing the right thing? And for me, at that point, I was like, okay, it means that when people see what I'm wearing, it looks nice. Like I am putting on an outfit and everyone is so mesmerized about it. And I was like, okay, I didn't think deep into it because I was still in high school. But after high school, when I had money to buy clothes for myself, that's when I was like, okay, if I can dress myself up, probably I can help another person. And that's just where it all began for me.
That's very dope. See, that's a nice one. For me personally, I've never been a big fan of fashion. And then that's saying the how you address, that's how you're gonna be addressed. I only started taking it serious when I get like when I got out of secondary school. I was like, because me, I don't mind what I'm wearing as long as I'm comfortable. That's the kind of person I used to be. But and then I found myself in a group of people whereby I see where like they are concerned about how people perceive them when they appear with what they're wearing. And then that made them want to dress more responsibly because they feel like how they dress is probably like 60 to 70% of how people would like to address them. So that is when I started learning from what I see. And then if I put something together and it might feel comfortable to me, but doesn't feel comfortable to the outside person seeing it. Then I started taking the consideration of how it feels to me and how it feels to the outsider, and then put it together, and then here I am with big things only. Let's go to the next question on the second segment. So on the second segment, it's confidence through fashion. So I want to direct this question to anybody, like anybody can answer between one or two of you. So the question is, fashion is such a powerful way to build confidence. Have you ever felt like your style helped you step into a new version of yourself or even helped you overcome self-doubt? I would like to hear from both of you. So one person should go first.
Well, ladies first, so.
Okay. Oh, fashion. Oh, um, for me, my personal style has developed through finding myself. First, I was dressing I don't want to say for the male gaze, but I was dressing how people would, how I expect people to see me, you know. However, when I did work on myself, when I continuously do work, I found that I don't really like to fit in, but I like to feel comfortable with what I wear. So, what I'm trying to say is, I've been dressing for my body type. And that has given me so much confidence because everything fits right. Every color that I try on, it goes with what feels right to me. And that has helped me a lot boost my confidence. Even when I walk outside, you can see that this person is confident because I no longer dress for the people, but I dress for myself. And I think that's where the personal style comes in. That when you dress for yourself and you don't necessarily care about what people say, you dress for your body, for yourself, that's where you gain more confidence because everything sits right. You know what you like and you know what you prefer.
I'd like to hear from big things only.
Well, fashion or like transcends confidence. I would say that because confidence starts from within, and you can't really give out what you don't have. So the first point would be for if I would say if I'm speaking to somebody about confidence and style, is to first of all be comfortable. That's like a key word for us. The fashion has to be comfortable first. You first of all have to feel that excuse me, you first of all have to feel that comfort first from within, then you can express yourself out there. If you wear something that makes you feel uncomfortable, there is no way you'll be showing confidence when you step out. So being confident in your own self, in your own skin, and saying, okay, this outfit I'm about to pick today, I'm confident in it and I can represent myself in it. Then putting in your own personal style, being bold too. Boldness is one way to show confidence. So when you wear things that make you feel bold and make you stand out, you can show your confidence through your fashion, through your style. You don't have to look like everyone out there. Everybody's wearing black, wear pink. If everybody's wearing white, wear black. It brings you out there and it puts you at the forefront. So you become bold and you become confident.
Yeah, I think by the end of this episode, I'm gonna be how do you call those guys that do on the runway?
Model.
No, but runway model. You're feeling it. You're feeling it. Yeah. So on the flip side, I think for both guests as well, when would you say you were ever judged for your style? I know it doesn't matter because you're in the fashion scene, but when did that ever maybe make you feel some type of way or just make you realize that your style that you have is always perceived in a different way depending on your audience? So, yeah.
For me, I've never, would I say I've been judged? Maybe I've been, but I've never paid much attention to it because I don't know. I'm not gonna say my style is too different from other female styles, but I've never paid attention to it. I don't know. I've never paid attention to it. Also, I think it's because I dress for my body, so most of the time nothing is out of place. So if I've judged, maybe probably, but I've never really looked into it.
Okay.
That's fun.
For me, I feel like when I started dressing, because I'm not gonna lie, I used to like skinny pants back then. That time. It was a trend then. To the point that you have to like wear something in your foot for the pants to go through, like a nylon bag or something for you to go through and then fit wear. So I was judged then because they said I look like how do you call those white people that wear like are they artists or something? But they were, yeah,
Rockstar.
exactly. They said I'm not like
Bad thing.
rock star because
Oh. Okay.
they said I look like a short rock star, and then it didn't get to me because at first I'm not gonna lie, it was a trend. It wasn't really really comfortable. Like you can't breathe. Now you wear like if I'm wearing straight jeans and a baggy jeans, at least I can breathe. So, but it didn't really do much for me because I just had to like check what they judging me about. Because sometimes people might be judging you about the right thing. If you can pay attention, then it's a good thing if you pay attention and then probably improve for yourself. So
Well, say finding out your personal style I feel like there's every room for you to try different things. So you obviously feel judged from one point or the other, and being a trailblazer, you get to start something that was not done before. So people see it new or new, be like, why is this guy wearing this kind of outfit? So it's like transcend your type of style. So for me, I can't like pin any specific point where I felt judged, but I know that just having that feeling of going out and people looking at you differently, they haven't seen like somebody this bold or wearing this bright color before. It all adds up to the experience. But when you keep up and you refine it, you have to always refine your style as you go on, not just like say, oh, this is my style and I just stick to it, and not also like jumping on trends all the time, trying to catch up with trends. By the time some trends are not meant for you, and are meant for like some certain body type according to her and how she dress, and some trends are like meant for some certain type of age group. So by the time you try to hop on every trend, you will definitely be judged. So, but it depends on you and your personal decision to like refine your style, come out bold regardless of being judged, and you find your path, and you see people would, like tap in and want to follow you.
Good one, good
Yeah.
one. So the last question on this segment is how do you balance staying true to yourself while navigating all the outside noise, like trends or people's opinion?
I followed trends before, but I always try to make it also my personal style, like adding a little bit of touch of what Asanda likes. Some trends do like pass me because I'm like, this is not something I would even try. Even if I try, I know maybe it might look better on a much petite person. So some styles they do pass me, but the ones that I do jump on trend on are usually the simple ones, maybe like a color scheme, just like how now butter yellow. Butter yellow is like a spring color. I'll jump on it on something. I don't have to wear all clothing butter yellow, but I'll do something. Winter we had burgundy. I just pick up a little bit of what I see can suit me and what I think I can add a little touch to it.
Um, my co-host with me here, she's a director and she's also a stylist. So I want her personal opinion on this question. I know she's not a guest.
Really?
So the question is, how do you balance staying true to yourself while navigating all the outside noise, like trends or people opinion? Because for stylists, people opinion, it's always gonna be there. They'll be like, how do you think this is better than what we're saying? Like things like that. So for you, like likewise your lifestyle and work environment, how do you balance it?
Well, for me, it's a bit different. My friends used to call me crazy quarter because that's about it. I'm gonna do what I want, when I want. So, like, even starting from a younger age, what I was in grade 7, I wore crash boots and a velvet jacket to our prom because I wanted to. So I think it's just about embracing your own confidence and embracing that one thing that keeps you sane. And for me, fashion is about telling a story. So when I wear this shirt or jacket, today maybe I'm a lawyer, I'm feeling like a lawyer, am I feeling?
Okay.
So it's just about that essence and that suave you bring to it. So yeah.
And for
So
big things is the John D, because I like to call him big things because I've forgotten the name John D. The only thing like I see is big things. Big things only. You know a believer when you see one. So for big things, you're a founder of a very, very classic clothing brand, of which I'm wearing one now. So how do you balance staying true to your style and yourself while navigating all the outside noise like trends or people's opinion?
So, in my personal take, I feel like, or I know that fashion is not just the way you dress, but also an expression of yourself. So, using fashion as an expression of yourself, if you get to express your innermost self, your creativity, you get to express your confidence, you get to express your godlike nature, you get to express who you really are through fashion. So, and when you get to do that, you're definitely not on the trend. Now you're on the trailblazer part. You're the one setting the trend. Now people see you and like, oh, I like what this guy is putting on. I want to wear something like this, or I like this kind of style. So being that trailblazer that every believer it's like gives you that middle ground for you to express yourself through fashion. Let people see how you look even before they speak to you. Let them like see you and be like, wow, I like what this guy is wearing on. I like the color combination even before they talk to you. So that like takes you away from the trend. And being trendy is not, it's not also a bad thing, you know. Right now we are in a very fast moving society and environment, a digital world at large, you know. So being trendy is not a bad thing, but knowing how and when to trend is a very personal game. You know, it's part of your self-awareness, knowing, oh, this is not for me or this is for me. So knowing when to balance and when to like keep yourself in check is the way to also express yourself.
Nice one. First of all, I'm a big believer.
Little man.
So, the next segment, we're going to be talking about growth through style.
Yeah. That sounds exquisite.
We know which word it actually is, but we're going to go with that. That's the word now. That's the word.
At least as long as you guys understand, I'm an African, you know. I only know my native language.
So, yeah, growth through style.
Yeah.
So, again, looking back, we're taking you back again. So, how has your style reflected the seasons of your life? Whether that's personal growth or healing, your career, different choices through family, how has that affected it?
Or through the trajectory of my life, my style has evolved over time and it's still evolving. You know, it's still going to get better. I see myself in the future like dressing differently and being different, you know. So there's like different levels to it. But one thing I would say would be how the expression of myself at my different seasons, you know, but being intentional about how I present myself has evolved my style, you know, making sure that I dress a certain type of way to meetings, when I'm going out, you know, when I'm with friends, when I'm out by myself, you know, just being intentional about my self awareness, about how I present myself and how I'm being presented has evolved my style over time. So individualism has had a greater effect on my fashion style than any other thing.
So they still bring that personal touch, even though the occasion might be different, not the same.
Yes, definitely. You have to, you, 100%. As a believer, you have to own every room. You have to walk in your greatness. You have to walk in your boldness, and you have to represent yourself in that light. You know, let people see you before they talk to you. Let people know you before they talk to you. You know, and the best way to do that is through fashion. Yeah.
And the best way to do that is through fashion. You guys hear that? Those of you that think less of how you show up in public, you need to think more about it now because
Yep.
that tells us how you think even. Like, so this is how you think. Nah. So the next question, I want to direct it to our personal stylist in the building. I'm feeling a swag, you know. She's looking all stylish, some good washes, and you know, she's good. She's good at what she does. So this question is for you. Would you say your fashion journey mirrors your personal development journey too?
Definitely. It definitely does. Someone that knew me 2 years ago would testify that the style that I had is different from the style that I have now. And I think that is because I'm also growing. And with me growing, there are certain things or certain items that I no longer like, and certain items that I starting to fall more into. So it also reflects as me as a personal stylist that when my style evaluates, it gives me more insight on how I can style another person because there's a variety of styles. There's different kinds of style, but not bad. But the more I upgrade my style, the more insight I have on other different styles that people might like.
Okay. That's a good one. For me, let me read the question again so I know how to answer it properly. Would you say your fashion journey mirrors your personal development too? Yeah, it kind of does, you know. But for me, like let's say looking back 5 years ago, I wasn't this calm, so I didn't dress calm. Like imagine me, imagine me wearing like 6 color in one outfit just because I want to be the loudest in the room. But now I feel like I've grown a lot. I've worked on myself, personal development and personal growth. And now, how I dress shows how I feel about myself. My outfit now are calm. When I step out, you be like, this guy dresses like a pastor type of shit. So if I feel like
Feel like a pastor. Okay. Hell yeah.
yeah. So let's go to the next question on the segment.
Okay, perfect. It's the big things. So, for someone who doesn't have style, for someone who gets intimidated by having different people in the room, and like you said, your image and what you wear actually comes within, what advice would you give them? Especially someone that's trying to become stylish. I won't say stylish like it's a label you can paste on, but someone who's trying to represent themselves better and having a better image. What advice would you give them?
So someone who is like in the room and they're trying to represent themselves in a better light and feel different. My first advice would be, first of all, be comfortable. Going with something like when you're dressing up, or when you're representing yourself, represent yourself with something that makes you comfortable. That is where you can tap into your greatness. That's where you can tap into your power. Then style doesn't necessarily come from what you wear or the colors that you put on. It comes from your individual self. So working on yourself, your personal growth, which is a very wide topic, for us to deliberate on. But personal growth, as we say, is very important. That like reflects your kind of personality on who you are, your how you present yourself. So being comfortable in whatever you're wearing in your fashion sense is like the trick that does the work, in showing yourself. And that's where the confidence comes in. So when you're comfortable, you're confident, and you're able to represent yourself in a way that people like even look at you and be like, wow, I like what you're putting on. But it's not necessarily what you're putting on, but just because you're comfortable and you're confident. So that also that is the best and timeless style that you can ever have.
That's a good one.
So you can be the loudest in the room.
Yeah, you can
As
be.
long as they
Yeah, as long as like you're feeling, as long as you're not faking it to yourself, as long as you're not like just playing a game or just pulling up something that you don't really believe in. So believing in yourself, that's why we're called believers, and that's the essence of Big Things Only as a brand, to remind you to believe in yourself. And that's where Big Things Only comes in for somebody who is trying to represent themselves in a room full of people where you just want to be different and feel different. So that's the kind of outfits that we create. Whenever you wear an outfit from Big Things Only, you're definitely gonna feel different because nobody's gonna be wearing what you're wearing. And if somebody's wearing what you're wearing, then you know a believer when you see.
Hey, I like that.
Don't believe it when you see one.
We're all going to be believers by the end of this
You see,
day.
when you start to
Yeah.
so I'm saying big things. So even if Asanda is not wearing, I can tell she's a believer. So let me hear your take on this last question before we go to the final segment. So the question is for you. I know you're very very confident and understand how you show up. So maybe you should have like inspiration or insight on this question. What would you say to someone who feels like they don't have style or feels intimidated to express themselves through fashion?
Um, Style, I feel like people need to understand that style is deeper than just wearing clothes. It's your hobbies, it's where you travel, it's your day-to-day life. You don't just wake up and say, oh, this is my style. You have to see different things, and in order to actually grasp that, okay, this is what I'm leaning more into. And obviously style will change, it will keep on evolving. So the more maybe traveling you do, the more inspo you get into what maybe your personal style is. And I always tell people that I work with that in order for you to find your style or have style is to wear your clothes. Wear your clothes over and over again until you actually develop what you like and what you don't like. Because as much as you follow trends, like I said in the beginning, things will not look the same as another person might look. So you might say, maybe a man likes Sam's style, but then with their basic life or their day to day, it doesn't fit Sam's style. So as a person, find hobbies, travel, and just do things outside of your normal life, and that's where you begin to find your style, what you like and what you don't like.
That's a good one. You see what I'm saying? She's confident in her style, so she's teaching us. I'm learning too, you know. I told you guys by the end of this episode, I'm going to be a model. And I'm going to be an expensive one because I'll be things only. So you know what I'm saying? So let's go to the final segment. This has been a very, very wonderful conversation. And then I like the vibe in the room. So this question goes to both guests. So this segment is final takeaways and advice. So let's get the first question. If there is one mindset shift you learned through your journey with fashion and self-expression, what would it be? So anyone that wants to go first. But as I say, ladies first. Make sure no block us for ladies first.
Um, a few is that one, don't limit yourself. Life is full of good things. There's just don't limit yourself when it comes to style. If you're tired of this style, try another style. If you're tired of that style, try another one. Don't limit yourself and actually don't care about what people say. Because in the end, you are the one that's looking yourself into the mirror. You have to face yourself. So if you take people's judgment so much, you will end up not liking yourself. So just explore more and believe in yourself, just like how your believers have.
That's it. So big things. Let me read the question again so you get it. If there's one mindset shift you've learned through your journey with fashion and self-expression, what would it be?
Well, personally, I think that you should try different things. Shouldn't be you shouldn't box yourself in. If I'm speaking to somebody about that, you shouldn't box yourself in. You should be open minded to try new things and also develop yourself. Style and fashion is not just about the clothes like that you wear. Like I said, it's also how you look, your body type. If you're some certain type of weight and you don't like it, you can cut down the weight and you could see that your style will evolve just by doing
Mm.
that task, just by, you know, looking better and feeling better. You become lighter, you just become it's better experience and explained. So like having to do those personal developments, how you look, how you present yourself, your fitness level, everything adds up to how you create your style. But in creating your style, you can't just pick. I'll just pick from what Asana said. You can't just like pick one thing and hold on to it. You have to be formless. You have to be able to try different things, try new things, and figure out what works for you, and evolve with that, and try to grow on that step. Yeah.
Good one, good one.
Awesome.
So the next question from you.
Yes, so my final question, what would be, and I think it's really important because it's all about adding value, like you said, to your believers and something they can actually grasp onto. So, what would you say would be the best piece of advice to someone who's trying to get into the industry, who's trying to work on their confidence, work on their style, and just work on themselves in general?
Yeah. Somebody trying to get into the fashion industry. So my piece of my advice to somebody trying to get into the fashion industry would be that first you have to learn the skill. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have an idea and know that okay, because fashion is big, right? So you have to know this is where I want to go into. Do you want to go into the bespoke type of fashion? Do you want to go into streetwear? Do you want to go into the casual wear? Whatever you feel like you have your best strength is where you should put your focus, where you should like put your mind to. You also have to be passionate about it. It's not just about creating clothes and giving people to wear. It has to be something that people will see that this is your lifestyle. It has to be something that you live, you believe in, and you can't do anything if you don't believe in yourself. You're not going to attract believers. People can spot a mile away somebody that is just faking it, that doesn't believe in themselves, because challenges will always come. But believing in yourself is like a way for you to attract people to you. You're servicing people too. So you need to learn how to communicate. You need to learn how to be of value to people. You need to learn how to be a people person. Then lastly, which is the most important one, you need to believe in God, because God is where we tap our strength from. God is the author and finisher of our faith. I'm a big believer of Christ, so I'll always preach the word and say, God is the ultimate. If you don't believe in God, you can't tap into the belief of yourself because we are made in the image and likeness of God.
Very well.
So believing in yourself is also a service to God, because you are like believing in the creation that God created, which is you. So that's like the way to go in order to get yourself in. And when you do all these steps, you realize that your confidence is being boosted. You realize that people see you different. You realize that your style will evolve. You realize that there will be different, you'll be in different rooms, you'll meet new people. You'll be able to take advantage of the opportunity that will come your way, because we all have opportunities like coming our way day to day. But if we are not specific, excuse me, if we're not specific in the way we carry ourselves, we get to miss those opportunities without knowing that they were opportunities. So having to work on yourself, believing in yourself, believing in God, being passionate, learning the skill, being able to communicate. The sky is your limit.
You hear that? Believing in God rounds it up. So we are not just called big believers. We are called big believers because we do believe in God. And anything that has to do with God is already big because God is the biggest.
Yes.
So let me direct this question to you also. I'd like to hear what my personal studies has to say to round up everything. So when you see my what's it called, my agency for being a fashion or model, I have Asanda and big things, so it's gonna be expensive, Very, very expensive. So the question is, what's one piece of advice you'd give to someone who's trying to find confidence, not just their style, but in themselves?
Um, I'll start with what Big Things just said. Everything starts with God. I've also been in that journey. I think that's how right now I am where I am, because I just set myself down and said, if I should go on this, then what do I need more, which is God, because God gives you a purpose. And you really can't tap into your purpose without tapping into God,
Fact.
because you end up doing things and you're seeing they're not working, but it's because you're not letting His will be done. You're just going through your own. And that is where I would like people to just go back to the drawing board, which is God. And when you have faith and just believe, that's where you'll start growing yourself, even just confidence from within your career. Everything that you have always has to start with God. And from there, just put yourself out there. That's what I've been doing. That's what has been lending me these amazing opportunities, is that I have been putting myself out there in the most uncomfortable positions, in the most uncomfortable conversations. Because if you sit very comfortable, you will never go far. You will never go far. So do the most uncomfortable things, believe in God, and just believe in yourself also. And I feel like that is the start of you going somewhere.
That is a round of applause. So that's my stylist and personal shopper in the building. So it's been a wonderful conversation, honestly, from the starting segment to the finish point. You guys have made me realize fashion has to do with more than what you wear. It has to do with more than how you show up. It has to do with a belief that comes within. And then you guys also made it very clear that even if it's called fashion, we still need God in it because God is the author and finisher of our faith. Like anything you exclude God from probably is not going to work. It's like excluding yourself from the source. So it's been an eye-opening conversation. I'm sure our listeners have learned a lot. And being a big believer in the building, all I have to tell you guys is it's your style, right? And it's your life. The minute you start believing in yourself, you start seeing it. And then that's how you know you see a big believer. And then you know when you see one, then you know I'm a believer. That's why I'm being able to see a believer. So let me hear from my co-director and a co-host with some rounding up words. Like I'm feeling so excited because I know after now, sorry guys, I'm gonna be a model. It's not a very expensive one.
Okay, so if you love this episode, make sure to follow us in Inspired Minds on YouTube, Spotify's, Apple Podcasts, and join us for more inspiring discussions. Until the next segment, we out.
Yeah. Okay, for a roundup, I would also like to give first a shout out to Jandy, the sorry to say co-founder, the founder and owner and proprietor of Big Things Only. So you see, we're wearing his brand here. It's a worldwide brand. You are not limited to where you can find it. You can find them on Instagram, on TikTok,
A website.
even on the website bigthingsonly.com. You can find that. And if you also is someone that's trying to develop your style, like everyone has style, I have to say, like everyone has a style. It's just about you finding out. And then finding out sometimes needs you to have a person to show you what might fits better than what you think looks better or fits better to you. And that's where Asanda falls in, because she's good at it. She's very confident in her style and how she presents herself. So if you need of a personal shopper or personal stylist, you can also shout out to Asanda Goban on Instagram. Then she's gonna probably get you looking good that you thought you could. And I would also like to give a shout out to this place we're shooting this podcast now. It's a store. It's called In Hand Store. It's at 142 Butin Grimes Street in Bocap area. I don't know the name of this street in Cape Town, but you guys should check it out. It's a coffee shop, and they also sell like items like clothes, shoes, even what's it called? Designer sneakers. So you guys should check them out. In Hand Store.
You can
They
buy
are-
Big Things Only here too.
You can see it
Yeah.
everywhere. Big Things Only. So you can buy them here too. So you guys check it out. So and for our socials, if you're not yet subscribed to our socials, Inspire Mind Hub Podcast, IMH Podcast Studio on Spotify, on YouTube, on TikTok, and Instagram. So follow, like, share, and then make sure to show this episode to someone, because if you don't, I don't know how you're going to afford me, because you need to see how I learned how to become a model and more fitness myself. So until the next time, we're going to see you guys. It's been a wonderful one. Thank you to Big Things, Mr. Jandy, and then thank you to Asanda and my co-host Cora the Explorer. She knows all the locations in Cape Town. She's a director, so I give it to her. So on the next one, I'll see you guys.